Hello, hello.
Hello.
Good Friday lunchtime. Hello, Steve. Long time no
Hello.
see.
Except it's not lunchtime here, but that's okay.
That's right. It's breakfast
But
for
it's
you.
lunchtime somewhere, that's for sure.
Well, I mean, I'm in Nagasaki, and it's 1 a.m. And,
Okay, you just come
so
back from
it,
pub
it
crawl.
it's how do you call this? It's like a night snack, 宵夜. Um,
Yeah, so yeah.
yeah.
Midnight snack, I don't know, raiding the fridge, whatever.
Yeah. Well,
They had
today,
foods when I was in Nagasaki 40 odd years ago, they had food stalls at night
well,
by the river.
well, there you
Or
go.
river ocean, I don't know what it was. Yeah.
Right along the food stalls, really. I mean, I
Noodles,
don't think we have a lot of those now.
no.
Yeah,
They got vending machines now.
that's right. They've got vending machines for everything.
Everything. Whiskey. You name it.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can actually have those noodles cooked and everything, and yakisoba and takoyaki and
Yep.
you name it, and all these weird stuff too.
Yep.
So the only person who is at lunchtime that's not with us right now is Nicola. He's going to be about 5-10 minutes late, but
Right.
definitely he'll be joining us in our random talk today with Steve Kaufmann, a man who requires no introduction. So thanks again, Steve, for taking the time. Before we start our interview, I want to remind everybody that this year, for the first time, we will be having LangFest at Université de Montréal. So new place for us to try things out. We've got a big campus. We're gonna try some things outside. Take this opportunity to thank Concordia University for hosting us for the past 3 years. It's been fantastic, and we're not going away because we don't like Concordia. We definitely love Concordia, but trying things, new place, a new university also en français. So let's see how that works. And we've got a fantastic program that's being set up right now as we try to translate the biographies and the descriptions. We'll be getting that out very soon, and we have big news. We've got stuff coming right up, so people have to stay tuned on our Facebook page and on our website. We'll be setting everything up with a huge announcement coming up in the next week or two, definitely. So stay tuned for that. Otherwise, things are going well. And how have you been, Steve, since we last we spoke?
Well, great. I we just did our 90-day challenge at Link. Our members committed to spend, to work a little harder during 90 days
All right.
from February 1 on different languages. Something that we do from time to time because it kind of motivates people. And as you know, language learning is a lot about motivation.
Oh yeah.
In my case, I went after Arabic and Persian. I'd started Arabic a little earlier, and I decided to do Persian as well because it's kind of having put the effort into learning the Arabic writing system. And there's a lot of Persian Farsi speakers around where I live here.
Okay.
So yeah, I did that. That was a lot of fun.
So what was this 90-day challenge part of? Is this part of the link
Again, it's
community?
one of the things that we do at Link,
Yeah.
sort of the raw, get people, fired up. So during that period, people work especially hard. So in my case, if I normally would spend an hour a day, primarily listening, listening to my, listening with my Apple AirPods that I've always got with me, 10 minutes here, 20 minutes there, then I did more than that during that 90-day period. So all it amounts to is, and then I look at what I achieved, how many hours I put in, because we track that, how many hours I listened, how many words I learned. And and I put out, actually, I put out on my YouTube channel, I put out sort of an
Yeah.
exit video, both in Persian and in Arabic, neither of which is very good. But in 90 days, realistically, I mean, it takes time to learn a language.
Absolutely. I mean, you have your a taste, I guess, and then you decide whether you want to go deeper or not. Uh,
Absolutely.
and I've got, we've got a few folks online right now listening in, so I want to take this moment to say hi to everybody. We've got Seris Zahid on our YouTube channel right now. We have Miguel Nicolas Ariza, who's no stranger to LangFest. And he's actually asking which Arabic dialect that you learned over the 90 days?
I went for Fusha. I went for Standard Arabic. The reason is that I have no definite plans to visit any particular Arabic country right now, although I visited Morocco and had a great time. So Fusha is the standard.
Okay.
So, and Fusha, most of the material that I can find on the internet, including podcasts from Al Jazeera, you know, where you can watch political discussions, interviews, and everything else, that's happening in Standard Arabic. So sitting in Vancouver, Standard Arabic is more useful for me. Now, if I were to go to Lebanon or Egypt or Saudi Arabia or wherever, Abu Dhabi, you know, I would learn the local language. But if you have with the Fusha, with the Standard Arabic, I've gone a long way towards learning these local dialects. And in Morocco, which is, you know, there they speak the most, the sort of North African Arabic is the most remote from, say, Lebanon, Jordan, whatever, Egypt. But even there, taxi drivers were talking to me in Arabic, in Fusha, in Standard Arabic. So I found people. I was in a restaurant. The lady who ran the restaurant, delightful, very energetic lady, we were chatting away in Standard Arabic. So a lot of people do speak Standard Arabic, but it's not their native language. The native language in each of these countries is something else.
Okay. Well, I know nothing about Arabic, but we do have, you know, it's a big group. I think from what I gather.
Yeah.
You know, people do talk about the Egyptian dialect, I guess, being one of the most useful. I mean, I don't want to.
Well, there's a lot of Egyptians. Egypt is like the Bollywood, Hollywood of the Arab world. Mm-hmm. So all the movies come from Egypt, and the TV series and all that stuff. You know, I should add too, for those who are interested, Persian or Farsi is an awful lot easier than Arabic, because it's an Indo-European language, and it's a piece of cake compared to Arabic. Arabic is quite tough, actually.
So what makes it easier? What specifically?
Well, the structures, there are two things really. One is the writing system is more consistent. So if you see a letter, you're more likely to be able to pronounce it. In Arabic, it could go three different ways. And second of all, the structure of the order of the words, the structure, the way the verbs change, everything is more similar to what we're used to if we're native speakers of European languages. If we're not, then that's irrelevant. But for speakers of European languages, it's easier. Arabic has a lot of things in the way that they identify, you know, I can't explain it, but it's just more complicated. It's more complicated. That doesn't make it, it's not inherently more difficult, but for speakers of European languages, it's further away. And so therefore it's more difficult.
All right. Oops, sorry, I'm going to just fix my background here. You mentioned earlier that my screen is a little fuzzy. It seems like it's getting worse, but oh well. Yeah. It is technical difficulties. Wish I had a huge budget for the professional equipment that you talk about in there. We do have other folks online right now asking questions, and this is great. It gets us going. Clayton Davis is asking whether Link has added any support for additional languages recently. So what's been cooking at Link recently?
You know, I have lost track. I don't have the exact number, but it's like 35 languages. Mm-hmm. The most recent languages we added were Gujarati and Bulgarian.
Oh wow, Gujarati. All right.
Now, what dictates that we have Gujarati and we don't have Hindi? The reason is because, you know, we need to have a certain amount of content in a language before we can add it. Otherwise, people sign up hoping to learn, Catalan, and they come there and there's one lesson in Catalan. So we can't have that. Mm-hmm. We have to have a certain minimum amount of content. So, and we don't go out ourselves. In most cases, in some cases we do create that ourselves, but mostly people volunteer. So somebody volunteered. We have these 60 mini stories, which is essentially, now when I go to learn a language, I use our mini stories. It's this sort of point of view, story repeats, a lot of stuff repeats. It's tremendously effective. So I say anyone who translates and records our 60 mini stories into language X, we will upload language X. So somebody did that for Bulgarian. So his girlfriend now can use Link for Bulgarian. Probably that's as many people as are studying Bulgarian. I don't know. But Bulgarian and Gujarati. So if we get the content, we load up the language.
Nice. So it is a community thing that really.
Well, most of our content, I mean, we have so
direction.
much content in every language. Most of it is contributed by our members, or it can be a language learning website that gives us a few lessons as a tease to get people over to their website. And we're thankful, we're grateful for it. We do have some content that people can pay for. Like we have some of Benny, the Irish polyglot stuff on there that he's done with Teach Yourself, and you pay for those courses, but the bulk of the courses are free.
Nice. Well, that's good. So we have, you know, Chanel is online. She's always watching us.
Hi, Chanel.
Bonjour Chanel. She likes to always come on en français. On peut parler en français pour quelques minutes.
Oui.
Et puis, donc Steve.
Oui.
Tu vas donner une conférence au LangFest encore cette année?
C'est ce que j'entends, oui.
Est-ce qu'on peut avoir une idée de quoi tu vas parler cette année?
Oui. Je vais parler un peu, voilà. Je m'aperçois que, disons, mon attitude envers l'apprentissage des langues a changé. C'est-à-dire, je me rends compte qu'il est de plus en plus facile d'apprendre non seulement une langue, mais plusieurs langues, et des fois à la fois. Donc, c'est un peu ce qu'on entend par le mot polyglotte.
Bonjour Nicolas.
Bonjour.
On parlait des polyglottes, alors.
On parlait des polyglottes. Grande surprise.
Ouais.
Comment ça va, Steve?
Ça va bien, ça va très bien.
Parfait.
Non, je voulais dire que, bon, et même au début en anglais, moi, j'insiste que en anglais, le mot pour polyglotte, c'est linguist. OK? Si vous cherchez dans le dictionnaire, linguist, c'est quelqu'un qui parle beaucoup de langues. La plupart des anglophones ne connaissent même pas le mot polyglotte. Mais dans les autres langues, le français, l'espagnol, n'importe quoi, le russe, polyglotte, c'est quelqu'un qui parle beaucoup de langues. C'est aussi un sens de ce mot en anglais, mais pour, disons, le mot qui est utilisé pour quelqu'un qui parle plusieurs langues, c'est linguist, en fait. Mais je me suis rendu compte qu'il est tellement facile maintenant d'apprendre les langues que, comme par exemple au Canada, dans le système scolaire anglophone, tout le monde fait semblant d'apprendre le français et sort de l'école pouvant s'exprimer en français. Le fait. Bon, je crois que dans l'école, on devrait enseigner plusieurs langues, donner la possibilité de choisir, mais de mettre l'accent sur la compréhension et non la production de la langue. Et donc, te permettre aux élèves d'explorer le chinois, l'espagnol, n'importe quoi, le swahili. Et si on arrive disons, déjà, ça fait que nos cerveaux, les cerveaux des écoliers, c'est plus flexible. Donc, si un jour, ils veulent apprendre, mais vraiment apprendre le français, parce que c'est presque obligatoire au Canada, où on le prétend, ils seraient en meilleure position de le faire parce que déjà, leur cerveau serait plus flexible. Et je crois que on fait beaucoup de dommages en insistant sur la production de la langue très tôt et la production correcte de la langue trop tôt. Et si on ne fait pas ça, mais on met l'accent sur la compréhension, eh bien, on peut apprendre beaucoup de langues, même si on n'est pas à un niveau très haut. On ne parle pas très, très correctement dans n'importe quelle de ces langues, parce que si jamais on veut se concentrer sur une langue quelconque, on a déjà les bases et on a, disons, un cerveau linguistiquement plus flexible. Voilà, fin du discours. Mais ce n'est pas de ça que je vais parler cet été.
Mais si on fait un petit détour un peu vers ce que moi je fais avec mes enfants, tu connais très bien, nous on suit la méthode OPAL, le One Person, One Language. Et puis il y a des écoles où ce qu'ils font un petit peu genre une immersion en anglais-français. Donc on n'apprend pas le français à l'école, mais on apprend en français. Ils font les mathématiques ou géographie, quelle que soit la matière, mais en une langue étrangère. Mais cette idée-là peut être applicable si on l'utilise, on fait en français, en anglais, en espagnol ou en japonais, etc. Qu'est-ce que tu en penses d'une école où ce qu'on ferait quatre langues, cinq langues, où on aurait le choix de faire plusieurs langues, mais c'est tout simplement faire des matières en une langue étrangère. Est-ce que tu crois que c'est une...
C'est difficile de faire. Bon, par exemple, mes petits-enfants, ils sont allés à l'école en immersion français, là, ici à Vancouver.
OK.
Ils ne parlent pas très, très bien le français, mais ils comprennent tout. Si ils seraient en position de devoir parler français, s'ils étaient dans un environnement francophone, très, très vite, ils vont parler très bien. Donc, l'accent est sur la compréhension. Mais je vois mal que dans une école, tu vas enseigner les mathématiques en japonais, l'histoire en espagnol, autre chose en chinois. C'est trop difficile. Il y a des limites.
OK.
Déjà, pour tous les anglophones, de suivre tous les cours en français, c'est difficile quand même. C'est difficile. Donc,
Mais
je
c'est
Il
ça.
n'y
pense
a même pas un problème de ressources même, je veux dire, d'avoir
Ouais,
des gens qui sont
ça
à la
c'est une autre
fois
question, là.
compétents
Oui,
dans la
oui.
langue et compétents dans leur matière qui pourraient rentrer en
Mais,
jeu. Euh,
mais là,
Ça existe, ça
on
fait jusqu'à un
parle,
certain point.
mais là,
Pardon.
on part avec l'idée qu'on fait l'implémentation à, c'est pour moi, en cinquième année, sixième année ou première année secondaire. Mais moi, je pense que si on commencerait ça vraiment au, dans les garderies, euh, c'est sûr qu'il y a une question de ressources. Donc, on
c'est une
commencerait pas
question.
avec 10 langues, mais disons 3 4.
Moi, par contre, oui. Alors, toi, avec ta famille, là, tu es dans la situation que toi, tu parles plusieurs langues,
Ouais,
tes parents, voilà, il y a un tas de personnes, et même des proches, donc la famille, le grand-père parle avec son petit-enfant
ouais.
en mandarin, n'importe quoi. Non, je ne suis pas en faveur de cela, mais par contre, à l'école, on pourrait offrir, parce que il y a tellement de ressources sur Internet. Si on avait donc l'entraîneur, le coach, l'animateur des programmes de langue, qui ne doit pas obligatoirement être ni natif, ni parler couramment ces
Non,
langues, parce que c'est pas possible.
non.
Mais il ou elle pourrait expliquer aux enfants comment on apprend les langues, où sont les ressources. Et voilà, ici des contes en italien, voilà, n'importe quoi, des choses que finalement les enfants choisissent, des choses qui sont intéressantes pour eux. Et puis, ils vont écouter, ils vont lire, ils vont. Et donc, c'est toujours axé sur la compréhension. Et le professeur ne doit pas être en position ni de corriger, ni n'importe quoi, uniquement compréhension. Et chaque année, on prend trois langues. Voilà. Et l'année dernière, j'avais chinois, japonais et swahili. Cette année, je veux faire russe, blablabla. Et l'enfant peut choisir. C'est juste l'exploration des langues. Et à un moment donné, il dit non, maintenant, il faut que, quand même qu'il arrive à parler une langue correctement. Et au Canada, sûrement, ça serait le français pour les anglophones et l'inverse. Ben là, il va se concentrer sur cette langue. Anyway.
Ah, c'est intéressant. Et moi, j'ajouterais juste aussi que, bon, tu parles de peut-être laisser un choix aussi plus large que le français pour avoir capté l'intérêt des jeunes. Mais que pour un anglophone, pour la compréhension, le français, c'est probablement une des langues les plus faciles à comprendre à cause du vocabulaire partagé.
Ouais, mais ça, on peut le.
Passivement, à mon avis, c'est une des langues les plus accessibles.
Oui, mais on pourrait dire la même chose pour toutes les langues d'origine latine.
Ouais, un petit peu plus proche parce que quand même le français de l'anglais que l'espagnol de l'anglais, pas beaucoup, je suis d'accord. Ça change pas énormément de choses pour le vocabulaire. Mais...
Oui, et puis finalement, ça, comme c'est beaucoup moins important que la motivation.
Ouais, je comprends ce que tu veux dire.
Donc, ce n'est pas, bon, si marginalement le français est plus facile, c'est pas important. L'important, c'est la motivation.
Totalement d'accord. Et puis ça, en fait, c'est une des grandes raisons pourquoi j'essaie d'enseigner les langues à mes enfants de cette façon, avec le opal.
Right.
Justement parce que je suis pas sûr que mes enfants ils vont être très motivés à apprendre des langues. Alors, je crée un environnement où qui vont l'utiliser et puis les apprendre de façon passive. Et puis, c'est ça. Je me disais, si on avait des écoles comme ça pourrait aussi encourager les enfants à apprendre des choses, mais dans des langues étrangères, sans vraiment qu'ils s'en rendent compte de ça, sans qu'ils soient intéressés dans les langues comme telles, sans qu'ils aient la nécessité
Switch back to
d'être
English.
motivés.
I'm just going to switch back to English just in case some of our audience is not.
Let's
We have
let's
now
yes, let's come back.
motivated them to learn French. That's good. But it was interesting. Motivation is so important. You know, I was sitting here waiting for this to set up, and I'm looking around at my library here, and I just happened to see in my Japanese section. So I've always bought books, you see. So here you got TOEIC test 1週間でやり遂げる. What do we got here? 超英語法. You know, they got books and books. 英語勉強法. You know, it's not that complicated. But there are books and books on how to learn. 外国語上達法. You know, they got so many books and it's made so complicated. And it all boils down to your motivation. It all boils down to your motivation. And we can, motivation and time. Motivation and time. You got to put in the time. You got to be motivated. And on that basis, I believe we can learn. And what happens is, and I'm going to talk about this, when you have never learned another language to a, call it a level of fluency, B2, which I consider to be fluent. You can make mistakes. If you've never done that, you don't think you can do it. And the problem at our LangFest, Polyglot, etc. conferences, we have people there, we have only people there who all of whom have learned a second language to fluency, realize that they can do it, they're encouraged, then they go and learn a third one and a fourth one and a fifth one. The biggest hurdle is the first one. And I keep on saying this, you know, if we could bring in more people, either teachers or learners who are still struggling to get over that first one, to climb that first mountain, because that's what we got to do. And once you've done that and you see how rewarding it is, and you see that you are actually capable of converting yourself into a fluent speaker of another language, then I think language 3, 4, 5, 6 are a piece of cake. And so I'm more and more convinced that with the resources that are available now on the internet, et cetera, we should be encouraging people and in our schools, encouraging kids to think of themselves not as someone that's under the obligation to learn French for some strange reason, but someone who should be exploring the languages of the world.
So in that premise, under that premise, do you think natural bilinguals? No, like Quebecers. There are lots of Quebecers who are naturally bilingual. Do they already have a good advantage over monolinguals, even though they've never learned another language, actively?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
But I'll say two things on that. I'll say the reason for that, when you say natural bilingual, like if you are totally in a bilingual environment, like your children will be growing up in a naturally multilingual environment. And for example, people who have a parent, one Francophone, one Anglophone parent, for example, or if they are Anglophones growing up in a French district of Montreal or vice versa. Yep. So those are naturally bilingual people. What happens is their brains are more flexible. So if you only have one language, you have only one set of sounds, you have only one way of expressing things. And so when you gain a second one, now you're more flexible. So now you're no longer stuck with just the one. And I think there's probably research to show that bilinguals have an advantage. However, you'll remember maybe that I stood there in front of the 500 people at the LangFest. And that was the year that Stephen Krashen was there. And these are all polyglots, okay? These are all people that go to that event there that we always go to, where people put flags on their shirts, you know, and they got 8, 10.
Mundolingo, yes.
Yeah. So these are all these people, young, not so young, whatever. And I said, how many of you grew up in a bilingual or multilingual family? Nobody. I mean, there might have been one hand. So that while it's a great advantage to be naturally bilingual, it's not a condition. It's not a necessity. And so there's lots of people. I mean, Richard Simcott, whom we talk about, Luca, All these people, they didn't grow up in a naturally sort of bilingual, multilingual environment, but they became motivated and they learned.
So how do you?
It's not a condition, but obviously the earlier you start, the better. But it's not a condition. You can do it at any age.
How do you acquire this motivation if you're not naturally inclined to learning languages? I mean, if you're not interested in a language, but you need it for work or for whatever other reasons, how do you really go out and get that motivation to
That's a real problem. That's why you get all these books written in Japan about
there you go.
the best way to learn English, because they're not very motivated to learn it. If you're motivated, you don't need all these books.
Exactly.
Way to learn English. How do you get motivated? Okay, I mean,
Possible?
it's first of all, I always refer to the expression in French, l'appétit vient en mangeant.
Wow, wow.
Okay? So to some extent, you know, try it, get in there, do it. Part of it is, again, I think the emphasis on the correct production of the language, on the grammar and all this other stuff. So there's a famous Hungarian polyglot, Kato Lam, who learned through reading, basically. And she said that language, there's a formula. Success in language learning. It's motivation, time, which is obvious, divided by inhibition, frustration, so all the negative stuff. So to the extent that we increase the level of inhibition, frustration, and everything else by forcing people to try to get the grammar right, that reduces the motivation is now diminished. The people spend the time. Most people aren't going to do anything outside the classroom because they're not interested. If a person comes at Japanese through an interest in anime, you don't have to teach them the grammar. If they're ever interested, they'll look it up. But if you hit them day one, in Japanese, the word order is this, and there's that, and this other stuff, we can't absorb that stuff. So I think what we need to do is work more with people's interests, what they're interested in, focus more on comprehension, and don't try to force them to understand a bunch of rules that govern something that they have very little experience with. Rather, let them get used to the language through things that are of interest to them. And on that basis, I think they'll do better. They're better.
Cannot agree with you more. And all this inhibition, I mean, part of it is yourself with your own, you know, what you tell yourself, but a lot of that is also driven by society and what, you know, everybody else says about how you cannot do this, or you cannot do that, you cannot learn a language, or you have to understand the grammar, and even through, you know, formal schooling, as you mentioned. So definitely there's something we got to do about this to make language learning more effective.
We'll get into some of those things in Montreal. One thing I wanted to maybe end with here is people often say you can't learn languages past the age of whatever, 10, 15. So I was once on one of these things, and so someone was saying, yeah, you can't, it's a fact, you know, it's a fact that as you get older, your brain is, you know, not as nimble or whatever. So I said, so what do you consider to be old? So the guy said 40. Okay, 40. Jeez. 40. I've learned 11 languages since the age of 60. And he thought that by the time you're 40, you're done. You're finished.
Well. So what is in the near term, midterm, long term future for Steve Kaufmann and everything that you do? I mean,
I'm going to go to Ukraine second half of May.
Okay.
I've been helping a small group of ladies that help the vulnerable people near the war there in Eastern Ukraine. And I'm also going to work a bit on my Russian and Ukrainian. Going to end up where they speak.
You were there last year, weren't you?
No, I was in Ukraine a couple of years ago.
Yeah, okay.
Then I'm going to the Polyglot Conference in Fukuoka.
In Fukuoka, you're coming to?
Oh yeah, Fukuoka. Right. And so, because I've sort of taken various runs at Korean and never really achieved the level of fluency that I would like to have, thereafter, so I put my Persian and Arabic sort of on the shelf for now,
Nice.
on the burner.
Okay.
And I'm going to really see if I can't bring my Korean up to a more decent level. So I'm going to work on my Korean. You know, the excuse being I'm going to Asia, so what the heck, I may as well focus.
Well, you're only a boat ride away from Busan, so
Exactly.
from
So
Fukuoka.
that's kind of where things stand. And, you know, I lived in Japan for 9 years.
Yeah.
And this October is also my wife and my 50th wedding anniversary. So she's coming with me and we're going to go to Japan.
Nice, nice. And you're going to Europe in mid-May. Are you gonna go around to the Polyglot Gathering?
No, I decided, like, I'm not going to do 3 polyglot gatherings.
Yeah,
So
okay, not this year.
no. That's enough is enough. I mean, they're great. They're all great. But I mean, I think LangFest, my main focus is LangFest. It's,
That's great.
you
Thank
know, it's in Canada, it's in
Mhm.
North America. It's the one that I want to support the most. I haven't been to a polyglot conference, Richards, so I thought I'd go to that one. It's in Japan. It coincides with our 50th wedding anniversary. We're
I
gonna
should
visit.
be there too. So
Oh, good. All right.
I don't know. I mean, it's just a bus ride from here. I mean, although I won't be in Nagasaki in October, but with my work, I got a new client that's in Kurume, so
Oh, yeah.
I might be able to fit in a little business travel there, possibly. But either way, I told Richard I'll try my best to go for this year. I missed it last year or the year before, or last year. Yeah, I missed the one in Ljubljana, which wanted to go to that one too. But I've never been to the Polyglot Gathering. It's always at that time where I'm in
Yeah.
Japan,
Great.
moving across to Taiwan, and it's
Bratislava is a great town. It was great. It was magic. Absolutely magic.
yeah,
Magic. Yeah.
gotta go.
Yeah, yeah.
gotta go to
And that
one.
way you'll have the opportunity to experience all
That's
3
right.
events, you know, and the different flavor and atmosphere, and because each of them have they're a little bit different. So yeah, it's I've seen the three events. Yeah, just Polyglot conference have been only once, but yeah, it's each of them has a little something, a little difference.
No doubt. Okay.
All right. So before we end this, want to remind everybody once again, we are going to a new venue this year at Université de Montréal. So
Good idea.
it is a beautiful campus. So and we went to check out the venue, the rooms and stuff, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. Try out the little west side of Montreal for people to see. Lots of greenery. So definitely. And the tickets are on our website, langfest.org. We are selling in batches. I don't know if you knew about this, Steve. We're selling in batches of 50 tickets. We've had our pre-sales, and we have our group 1 that's now sold out. We've started, we've got a few tickets out already in group 2. Every group goes up by $20 or so. So the earlier you get your ticket, definitely you'll be saving a lot of money. I mean, group 5 is I think group 6 I think is the highest, or the regular price we call it, at $197. Right now we're at $117, so it's gonna go up $20 every time we sell out a group. So we try to incentivize our folks to get in early so they could get the better prices. And we are currently in group 2. And again, want to remind everybody, we have big announcements coming up with the speakers. I mean, we have already begun to introduce our speakers, including Steve. We had Suzanne with us last week, Suzanne Roy, and we had Frank and Nicolas Walker from Montreal. We've had a few, so you guys can check the earlier lives that we've had, but we will soon roll out our app. I don't know if we told you about this, Steve. We have a LangFest app this year, so we're gonna put in all our speaker information into that app, and that'll be downloadable in the next within a few weeks. We're gonna populate that again. We're in the process of translating everything. We have all a lot of the information. We just got to translate everything and then populate our website. So lots of movement right now. It's where we kicked off a good momentum now. So thank you, Steve, for
Thank you for all the work you do, you guys.
thank you for
Thank
sharing your
you.
time. So we will see you guys next week. May mar may bust again Friday at noon Montreal time. Thank you.
Bye. Wow.
Bye bye
Arrivederci.
everybody.
Bye.